All right. I just recorded a video that I thought was pretty spiffy. Or I thought was pretty good. And somehow I deleted it or destroyed it somehow. I don't know. Just trying to edit it, but so I won't be able to recapture that magic. It's painful, man. God, that's painful. It's happened a few times to me. Amazing as this technology is, it sucks the ways that it can kind of. Anyways, there are definitely bigger problems out there. But the point I was trying to make is give yourself permission to love what you love in terms of to be passionate about what you're passionate about, to find joy in what you find joy in. And let me, I'm already here in some ways, which maybe that's not the right way to frame it, but let me explain what I mean and then maybe circle back to that point. When I was young, I loved sports. Just as far back as I can remember, it seems just baked into the recipe of my spirit. Sports. I just loved sports. I played Little League baseball. Loved Little League. Loved baseball. Loved playing baseball. Loved just everything about it. I loved having a uniform, putting on the cleats. Loved swinging a bat. Loved the crisp feel of a baseball, catching a line drive or fly ball right in the pocket of your baseball glove, leather baseball glove or whatever. I would say, what are those called? Ground balls. But man, that was kind of my kryptonite. I was always afraid of it popping up and smacking me in the teeth, smacking me in the face. And so I got a little bit better at that, but I never really liked. Anyways, sunflower seeds, being in the dugout or in the outfield, or I played shortstop. I remember playing shortstop. I think I pitched for a few games at one point, but yeah, just being out there on the field or in the dugout, having mouthful of sunflower seeds, and you just felt like grounded in reality somehow. You felt like part of the whole scheme of things. Life made sense. Yeah, I loved the game. I loved playing it. Loved football. I grew up in an era. I'm a 49ers fan, and I've tried to remember, how did that happen? Because I didn't grow up in a family of 49ers fans. I'm not from the Bay Area. And so I don't remember the exact moment, but just logically thinking about it, when I was growing up, they were ascendant. They were the team. It was basically Niners and Cowboys battling it out for supremacy. And it was clear to me that whatever it was I was to be, it was not going to be a Cowboys fan. Had enough sense in my brain, right? Enough sense to not be a Cowboys fan. Forgive me on the off chance a Cowboys fan hears this, but it's nothing that you aren't aware of. It's a very polarizing team. But anyways, yeah, it was a little bit after. I don't remember. It was a little bit after the Joe Montana era, but it was right in the heyday of, when I started becoming aware of sports and stuff. It was right in the heyday of Steve Young, Jerry Rice, and I'm struggling to remember more names from that era. Terrell Owens. And it's funny because at that age, I didn't have, a great detailed grasp of the game and technical aspects of the game and all that. I just knew I loved the 49ers, loved Young, loved Jerry Rice, loved watching the team. It's weird how primal these things are in some way, just how intuitive or innate almost. In the other video I was saying genetic. It almost feels genetic. There's like this predisposition because everything about it, the red and the gold, I don't know if they technically call it crimson, but the red and the gold, just the name, the 49ers, just seeing those guys just fills me with delight. Just absolutely is like, this is right. This is the right team. I think most people have their team and they just feel that way about it. Just something makes sense about it. And there's a magic there and we don't have to overanalyze it. And so, yeah, and I just, all these funny memories flooding in right now. But anyways, yeah, I love the 49ers. And still do, and I'll get to that here in a second. But and then there's basketball. And well, let me step back here. MLB, Major League Baseball. I loved playing it. And when I was young, I had the chance. I moved to a place where, for the first time in my life, it was a place that had professional sports teams, and it was Seattle. And that was amazing. That was awesome because I got to go to some Mariners games. I'm so grateful for that experience. You just are the king of the universe at a certain point, sitting in the stands as this young kid, surrounded by fans and all the energy and of the game, of all the people in this big stadium. It was a Kingdome, I think, at that point. And the crispness of the field and seeing all these legends. And this, again, was a golden era, and looking back in terms of being in the right place at the right time. Seattle. Ken Griffey Jr., Alex Rodriguez, Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez, was it Tito Martinez, Randy Johnson. You know, it was just an amazing team. And one of the kind of peak moments in Mariners history, that era, that I happened to be there. And so it was just absolutely overwhelming in the best way to be, seated in that stadium, seeing these legends right there out in the field before my eyes as this little kid with a hot dog, in hand, and maybe a cold Coca-Cola or something, on the rocks. It's ice. I mean, that is just, you're on top of the world at that point. And so, yeah, that of course meant a lot, getting to do that. Now, I have to say and be honest, watching baseball, especially at this point, and probably always like on TV, except for maybe in that short window of time that I was in Seattle and the Mariners were making a run, it's like watching paint dry for me. That's overstating it a little bit, but it's like watching golf. I'd probably rather watch baseball than golf, but I don't watch Major League Baseball. It just, part of it is I don't own a TV, so I couldn't, even if I wanted to. I guess I could probably buy a league pass or something, but a game on TV is just not that exciting for me to watch, and I know for some people it is, but to play it and to be at the games, that professional games, and also to play like in Little League, that was great. If I were to, and I guess my team is the Mariners because of those experiences, and it